All right, I've told you a little bit about what MongoDB is, and now I want to show you end-to-end how we're going to build an application using Java. So over here we have MongoDB, and MongoDB on your computer is going to start a MongoDB process. So that's going to be the process that actually runs MongoDB. There's a couple different ways to connect. One of the things I'm going to show you is the Mongo shell. The Mongo shell is a standalone program called Mongo that has a JavaScript shell language built inside it and connects via TCP to MongoDB. And this is a way to manipulate data and inspect data. But in this class, we're going to build Java applications. So we're going to build a blog, and the blog is going to have a bunch of pages for inserting posts and showing posts and inserting comments and showing comments. So this is the blog. And this is all going to be written in Java. So this is a Java application, and there's several different parts of this. There's our application code itself. Well, I'll call that our code. And our Java code is going to use two different frameworks that are going to make it easier to write web apps. One is called Spark Java, and the other one is called FreeMarker. So Spark Java is a micro web framework inspired by Sinatra that will allow us to easily set up routes that map to URLs so that when a request comes in for a particular URL, we can handle it and we can make a response via HTTP. So that's what Spark Java does. And then FreeMarker is a templating language that will allow us to create HTML views so that we can use model view controller type programming, where the view, which is the UI part, is separate from the controller, which handles user input, and the model, which is the underlying logic of the application. Now, this all runs inside JVM, because this is Java. So it's all running inside this JVM. Now, all of this code, in order to talk to MongoDB, needs to talk to the Mongo Java driver. And the Mongo Java driver is a library that's going to be linked in, and that is actually going to be the part that is sort of making the connections, the TCP connections to MongoDB for you. So you're going to write some Java code. It's going to use Spark Java, which we'll go over, and FreeMarker, which we'll go over, which is a templating language, and then also uses the Mongo Java driver, which is Java code meant to talk to MongoDB and retrieve data and insert data to the database. And all this together is going to present this blog. And then the user is on the other side in their house or something. And this user is talking to this process. Normally for a web request it'd be port 80, but in this class we're often going to use 8082 because 80 is reserved and difficult to use that port if you're not root on the computer. And then this might go through some sort of network address translation through a Linksys box or something like that. So in this class we're going to give you most of the code for the blog, and then you're just going to make fairly small modifications so that you can manipulate data in the database. Because the point of this course is not to teach you how to be a web programmer, it's really to teach you how to use MongoDB. And so the motivating example for some of the work is this blog, but we don't expect you to be able to create this whole thing from scratch for this course. So that's the end-to-end view of what an application might look like using Java. So you have Java code that's compiled into bytecode that runs in the JVM, and then also hooks into the Mongo driver for Java, and also in our case uses the Spark Java framework and the FreeMarker templating language to make the whole thing create a web app that is presented to the user on port 8082. Now that we know how this all works, let's now look at the Mongo shell, this part right here, to see how we might add a little bit of data or retrieve a little bit of data from MongoDB.